which candidates are going to win in the January election, I would say more than 90% of my predictions have come true. It means that it proved that Bazi reading itself carries a certain form of value that and carries with it practical application kind of value for us to conduct our future forecast. So today I will just give you a revision of what are the things that I have predicted, and using Bazi reading, how is it that we can come to a conclusion as to why certain candidates will win and certain candidates have lost the January election.所以呢，就华语说的意思啊，就是说呢，我们能够了解大选的那个结果已经出来了那也是能够了解呢。那我在前几天都有那个用八字的那个方法来做一个大选的一个预测，对不对？所以嘛，能够看得到嘛，八字呢是有一个现实的一个我们叫做价值在里面，我们真的能够非常的准确判断哪一个候选人能够赢所以我今天呢就会跟大家做一个 reflection 谢谢 Yvonne 的观看，做一个 reflection 呢就看为什么呢就是八字真的能够真的看得到很多东西，好像我有几个 prediction 大部分呢其实 I have to be honest, right, for the predictions that I have made in my previous videos, I have tried my best to look for their accurate date and time of birth, but I can't deny that some of the date and time of birth are not available. A lot of the politicians' date and time of birth are not available online, especially the newer candidates. So I'm not able to conduct forecasts for those without date and time of birth. And some of them actually entered into this election in a kind of manner, the GRC kind of approach means, right, if you go into the election, if the constituency you win, means a few people will go into this election and also will be able to go into the parliament. Right, so just quickly summarize some of the predictions that I have made which have come true. I have made prediction that Harpreet Singh and Alice Tan will not be able to go into the parliament this round, and it was true enough. They were not able to win. Of course, there are another two candidates. I cannot remember their names, but we can see that Bazi has made accurate forecast in this aspect. I have to emphasize it's not me that is, having this ability to forecast the future. In fact, everyone who learn, who are well versed in Bazi reading, will be able to make prediction about the future accurately. So I have said that Harpreet Singh and Alice Tan, the very, rather pleasant-looking female that entered into the contest, they will not be able to enter the parliament. True enough, Bazi has shown that they will not win. So against PAP, the other party, right, Harpreet Singh and Alice Tan were against, I believe, the deputy prime minister, right, who is Gan Kim Yong. Kam Kim Yong. I mentioned that Kam Kim Yong will still win after, even though, there were a lot of prediction that, or not prediction, or so-called opinions on that he's not so good in running election, but ultimately he still win. So another person that I have forecast that will win the election is Edwin Tong. So no doubt we also saw that Edwin Tong has won the election. Edwin Tong was running against which one now? Let me check. Versus which party in the GE? 2005. So I also predicted that Edwin Tong will win, and true enough, Bazi has predicted that Edwin Tong has win, and true enough, Edwin Tong has won the general election. He was competing against the East Coast GRC Workers' Party. The team was led by the Long constituency MP Yi Jen Zhong, and the rest of the, like Jasper, Huang, and a few others, So, Bazi has predicted Edwin Tong didn't win, so true enough, Bazi is accurate in this aspect. I have also predicted that Desmond Lee will ultimately win, and true enough, he also won the general election, ultimately. Of course, right, okay, let me take a look at some of the comments first. Jamus Team, actually Wong. Yeah, that is one point that I will also like to kind of have a thorough investigation with you guys. Jamus, actually, I was not able to find his accurate date of birth. Workers' Party, the Jamus. If you guys have his accurate date of birth, right, I will welcome you to provide me, because the one that I had may not be accurate, because I have checked the perplexity and check GPT also. I'm not able to find his accurate date of birth. Yep. So if you guys have this correct piece of information of what is his correct date of birth, please feel free to provide me, because as of Perplexity, this AI that I'm using, they only provided the year of birth as in 1976. So I believe if we are able to get hold of his accurate date of birth, we will be able to investigate further. So I will like let you guys to go and investigate for me. Yeah, help me check on his date of birth so that we can do a revision as to what actually is his correct date of birth. Because the one that I had in my tablet, right, I'm really not quite sure it was the correct one, or it was really just another client of mine that is having this name by the name of Jamus Lim. So, I have a lot of data in my existing iPad. So I really don't know if this was my client, or it was somehow that I was able to find his date of birth. But as according to Perplexity and ChatGPT, I'm not able to find his date of birth as of now. Yeah. So you guys go and investigate for me. So if we are able to get rid of his correct date of birth, we will be able to investigate further. And also, thank you very much, Mimi, Maria. Thank you very much for watching. Good evening. Likewise, Huang Huang. Jalan Kayu Wong Xia. Jalan Kayu is which one? Let me check. Jalan Kayu contestants. Yeah, Jalan Kayu contestants as according to AI. Let me read for you. Jalan Kayu single member. Yes, that is also another one that I will want to investigate. Yeah. All right. Jalan Kayu actually was this An Chi Ming and Andrea Low from Workers' Party. I have mentioned that An Chi Ming has a very low chance of winning. Okay, true enough, he won, but it is a very slight margin of like, what's the difference in forecast? 51.47%. Yeah, of course, I'm not able to find Andrew Low date of birth, as according to the AI is unavailable. If we have Andrew Low date of birth, perhaps we can do a very constructive comparison. But I will say for a PAP candidate to win, I mean, as a single member, kind of, that's called SMC, right? If we have these are SMC and PAP. Given that, of course, we all know PAP has a very strong position in all the seats. So given that he being a PAP member, but only got about 51.47% against a totally new candidate by the name of Andrew Low, winning by just like how many percent margin? I would say less than. Okay, let me read for you. An Chi Ming won the seat with 51.47%. And Andrew Low won about 48.53%. So when you give and take, right, the margin is not high at all. So I actually, in my prediction, I mentioned that An Chi Ming stand a high chance of losing. Yeah. Of course, I didn't say that absolutely he will lose, but we also understand that 1 day or 2 days before the election, something happened to Andrew Low. Andrew Low was like one of his so-called friends. I don't know who is that person actually. He's anonymous. He posted some private conversations that he had with Andrew Low, and within such kind of private conversation, it shows that Andrew Low used some words that are not very appropriate. But let's remember, those are private information. Those are private chat. Is not supposed to be posted online without the person's permission. So, but of course, the timing is such that it happened just 1 or 2 days before the election. So it just seems to be. I mean, I'm just thinking out loud. When someone does that at such a timing of critical, or such important timing, just 1 or 2 days before the election, he posted all this on Reddit and says that Andrew Lo actually is not a very so-called caring person or whatever. It seems to be a kind of weaponization, to bring him down, right, for Andrew Lo, especially when it is being conducted, this kind of so-called, public shaming, right? Or what would I like to call that? Much shaming or whatever. Try to cause him to have a bad reputation. Yeah, character assassination or something like that. Yeah, it is a kind of political weaponization, I believe. So will that actually cause Andrew Lo to suffer certain counts? Well, if it does, if it did, right? So we can actually observe, yeah. Andrew Lo actually, if without this incident, he could actually stand a chance of winning. But of course, now that right, Andrew Lo is the highest, the one who didn't win the seat, but have the highest vote count, right? Means the highest vote loser or something like that. I don't know how they put it, but he has a chance to enter into parliament likewise as an NCMP. Yeah, in Singapore politics, there's something called the NCMP, whereby if you have less than 12 opposition parties members, then you will be able to fill those who have the highest vote count into the parliament. So Andrew Lo still stand a chance to be in the parliament. Yeah, so I would say that is quite remarkable for a newcomer. And An Chi Ming, well, I have made a very strong point that I don't have his time of birth, which could actually result the accuracy of the reading. But we can see that An Chi Ming only win for 51.47%, which is, I think, not a very high score. Not a very high score, to be honest. So when we look at his Bazi chart also, right, An Chi Ming's Bazi chart, we can see that currently he's still within the Chou trend. Yeah, so this Chou trend is still not very positive to him. So I will say, right, after he has returned into the parliament, he has a lot to prove. Yeah, he must work very hard to prove himself that he is worthy to be to return to the parliament. Yeah, let's look at An Chi Ming's chart. Yeah, he's of the gunmetal day master that is strong, and currently he's at this Chou decade trend, a 5-year period. So this 5-year period definitely caused him some kind of unfortunate incidents, especially beginning from the year 2023. I believe that is also when the NTUC saga, the one that NTUC was being sold to Alliance or something. Yeah, so I'm not going to the details, but you guys can check it online. We'll indeed see that, right? Throughout his life, he has very positive development, really, since young. Actually, from his 30 years onwards, right, all these are water and wood element, which will bring him great wealth and success. But it's just that he has entered into, after 2022, entering into this Chou period, that will bring about negative turns of events to his life. Yeah, so An Chi Ming, I still, if I am to just read it without the time of birth, just remind you guys that this time of birth presence within the, the birth chart that I have here is not accurate, because no one have his time of birth. Yeah, but with his date of birth alone, we can see that Chou period is not so auspicious for him. So yes, he won 51.47%, but Andrew Lo is still very likely to enter into the parliament. So that is how important it is for us to have the time of birth of the person to give you even more accurate analysis. And also, it will be good if you have the opponents take a time of birth. Andrew Lo's take a time of birth is something that is missing. So without this piece of information, I will still say that Bazi is still rather accurate, that An Chi Ming will not have a very high vote count. So true enough, Bazi has also predicted that Dr. Chee Soon-jen will not win this general election. He was very close. Yeah, he was very close. It was like, he was one of the highest vote loser, about 47 point something percent, I believe. Let me check for you. Chee Soon-jen. So I mentioned in my previous video that Chee Soon-jen will not win this time round in the election. So his vote count, right? Let me check for you his vote in the GE 2025. Actually, he didn't do too badly, but he's still there. He didn't win. He didn't win and will not be able to go into the parliament. And also, yeah, PSP actually lost. That was a surprise to me, to be honest, because I do see that the PSP team do have positive development, but nonetheless, they only got 39% of vote count. But within that video, I have already mentioned Tasmania is going to win over, right? Will win over the PSP team. So I make it very clear in that prediction that Tasmania's team will still win ultimately. But I also a little bit disappointed that, you know, Workers' Party are just too strong. Yeah, Workers' Parties are just too strong. Yeah, Angelo did very well as the most, you know, the newcomer, especially as a newcomer, he was able to receive a lot of support from the Singapore population. Yeah, so so go to let's focus on Chisun Jan. Chisun Jan was actually able to secure about this I think 46.81. Yeah, so I don't think he will have a chance to be the NCMP. Very close actually. The other highest vote count belongs to, I believe, was it this Faisal or something? Was it Faisal Menap or something? So let me just check for you. Faisal Menap. I think that was WP, right? WP may actually have two NCMP going into the parliament. Yeah. So so Dr. Chisun Jan was not able to win, unfortunately, this time as predicted by my Bazi prediction also. So yeah, so Bazi is accurate in that aspect. Yeah. So let me try to find the vote count. Yeah. So this all right. Let me see. All right. I predicted that this Faisal didn't win. Also, Faisal Manat. I'm not sure if I pronounce his name correctly, but let me check the GPD, the exact spelling of his name. So I mentioned that Faisal, Faisal Manlat or something, right? Manlat. Let me check. All right. I couldn't find it, but you guys know who am I talking about, right? The Malay candidate. I mentioned that he's very down to earth and he also, you know, seems to, you know, be very genuine. Yeah, but we can see that he didn't win, but still he has a chance to enter into NCMP. So congratulations to him. I believe, yeah, you know, it's not confirmed yet. It's not confirmed yet because ultimately it has to be decided by the government. So Mr. David, hi, Master Jason, look at Dr. Chi. Gone. Yeah, Dr. Chi is gone. Yeah, I have mentioned that in terms of Bazi reading. Let's look at Dr. Chi's Bazi chart again. Yeah, Dr. Chi Sun Jan actually is ultimately is a strong day master. So given that the second half of this year is having Shi Fire, Shi Wei found a fire combination formation, which will cause his day master to be having a further kind of imbalance. So Dr. Chi Sun Jan was not able to win, although it was close. It was close. Yeah. So Mr. David, thank you very much. Yeah, Bazi is right. Yeah, I'm just a user of Bazi. All of you can also make the same kind of prediction and come to an accurate outcome or accurate forecast if you are well versed in Bazi reading. Yeah. So good evening. Likewise, Mr. David Hong Chai, Massachusetts Jamus and Ting Ru also reading Sengkang. Yeah, I really congratulate them. I believe their hard work really pay off. You know, they are very personal. They are always walking the ground. But I mentioned I don't have Jamus Lee accurate date and time of birth. So if you guys are able to find it over the internet, do let me know because the one on my tablet may not be Jamus Lim accurate date and time of birth. Yeah. So unfortunately, you know, even in Google search, he only states that his date of birth is 1976. So I believe the date of birth within my tablet is not correct. So if you guys are able to find Jamus Lim accurate date and time or date of birth, you will never be able to find his time of birth, to be honest. But if you're able to find his date of birth, do let me know so that we can kind of investigate his Bazi again. Yeah. With the accurate information, which is very important in Bazi reading. Yeah. Ting Ru, I believe I was not able to find also. Yeah. Ting Ru. Right. Okay. Ting Ru is 1983 June the 16th. So I will just try to look at his birth chart again. Let's investigate it together. as according to Google, I'm not sure how accurate this piece of information is, but as according to Google, yeah, I will show you. As according to Google, he's all right. Let me show you. As according to Google, his date of birth is 1983, June the 16th. Assuming that this is her correct date of birth, we don't have his her time of birth. Yeah, so let's look at her chart together. Ting Ru. From this look, right? From the look of it, it seems that he's a strong day master. Okay, so I plugged it wrongly yesterday. Yeah, I plugged it as a guy. Okay, for the previous prediction, Ting Ru actually plotted her chart as a guy. Yeah, so it was a mistake on my part. So let's investigate his Bazi together, changing her gender to female this time. Yeah, so it's very important. It's very important for us to plot correctly the gender of the person. So if you are to look at her chart, indeed, right, as a strong day master, yes. Currently, her chart is actually going through this sheep, which is an earth kind of earth branch. So yes, she will be successful, right? Let me repeat myself again. Yeah, I think it's very important for me to make this clear. During my last forecast for Ting Ru, that happened, I think, like yesterday or 2 days ago. When I plot her birth chart, I actually have selected the male gender instead of the female gender because, to be honest, I'm not very familiar with the candidates of Workers' Party. I didn't know that Ting Ru is actually a female. So I actually have plotted her birth chart as a male gender. So now I have corrected her birth chart as a female. Yeah, so now is a female gender already. I have plotted her as Yin or Kun Zhao. Kun Zhao means female. Yeah, so as a strong day master of the wood, currently she is entering into this sheet from 2025 to 2030. Yes, so you will see positive development in her political career. Okay, so let me repeat myself again. The gender is also very important in terms of Bazi reading. So make sure that whenever you plot a Bazi chart, you have to make sure that the gender of the person is chosen correctly. In the case, because doing the spontaneous question and answer session, right, that I had yesterday, I have actually mistaken that she is a guy. Yeah, so I predicted that she may face challenges, but now changing her gender to be a female, actually it shows that she will have positive development in these 5 years. Yeah. So yes. So Jamus Lim wise, I still have to search harder for his date of birth. I'm not able to find it online. Yeah. 10 minutes GRC WP. Yeah. Okay. Maybe PAP got feng shui master in their range to help them. Well, I'm quite sure because you look at Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, he is able to have one of the highest vote counts in the history of Singapore, like better than some of the previous Prime Minister, right? We look at Lawrence Wong Bazi chart again, a strong water day master. The year pillar is all of the Renzi, which is heavily stem red water and earth branch of Zi water. Man also run water, earth branch. The Man pillar also earth branch is Zi water. His day master is exactly of the Kui, and there's a very single earth element that represents her 正冠七杀 or authority. Yeah, this earth element actually will represent his authority. Yeah, so the whole chart is very auspicious for Singapore. When you have a leader that has a Bazi chart that is auspicious for Singapore, of course, you have a higher chance of success. So I have to congratulate, Prime Minister Lawrence Wong. He is able to have such a positive result. It is rather shocking to most people, to be honest, because in the history of Singapore, I believe this round, right, 2025, the election is the better one. For PAP in terms of the vote count. Yeah. Is it one of the best? Okay, let me check the AI. So I believe it's one of the best because the turnout seems to be like more than 65%, if I'm not wrong. So once again, right, I will see Prime Minister Lawrence won't be able to help Singapore move to a better direction in the future. Definitely. Yeah. The 2025 general election is widely regarded as one of the best electoral performance for Singapore's People's Action Party in recent history. Under Prime Minister Lawrence Wong's leadership, the PAP achieved a landslide victory, securing 87 seats out of 97 parliamentary seats and raising its national vote share to 65.57%, up from 61.2% in the 2020 election. So, just to cut it short, good choice. I mean, having Prime Minister Lawrence Wong for the PAP is a very good choice. I will say it's a very good choice. He may actually be the next, of course, in his own words, he said that he's not Lee Kuan Yew. No one will also expect him to be the Lee Kuan Yew. But he does have the Bazi chart that is able to benefit Singapore like Lee Kuan Yew. So we really hope that under Prime Minister Lawrence Wong leadership, Singapore will move to a higher place, a better place in the future. Danielson, Master Jason was 3rd May as good day for PAP. 3rd May is actually a good day because it's of Ren Sen, which is a water strong day. I would say it is a good day still, right? Especially because second half of the day, which is a sun element. Sun is a metal element, and PAP as a government, I have plotted a PAP's chart before, is actually of the metal day master. Right, that's why they always wear white color. White color is actually of the metal element. Yeah, so that this is the chart of PAP. It's a weekday master of the zinc metal, so that they have it the second half of the day whereby you count the folk count, right? And it's also the clinching, right? And I mentioned before, right? If you remember the day in which the election was held is within the month of clinching, right? This is the month, right? Are you able to see? I think my right, my iPad kind of like stopped. So let me turn it on again. But and I mean to tell you orally, it is a month of clinching, and having the day as the what you call the Sunday, right? Sun. It is a day of Ren Sun, right? So it is a day that is still strong in the metal element, which is auspicious for PAP. Yeah. So I will say, right, a lot of things, right. I personally believe, right. Of course, you may say no one know, right, whether this PAP actually have a kind of like metaphysics practitioner advising them on all these important days. No one knows. You have to be honest. No one knows. But I believe that even if you look at the landscape of Singapore, it's all filled with feng shui kind of features. Like you look at Marina Bay Sands, you know, I've already mentioned all this before, like the Singapore Marina Bay Sands, all the flyer, all the stars are actually feng shui arrangement. There are a lot of feng shui messages within all these landscape features. So let's look at the day itself, which is 5th of May. It is of the, I'm not sure why something is wrong with the iPad again. I'm really sorry, but I will try to share. Right. Okay, if you look at the month, which is, May, right? It has not passed the lunar month yet, so it was still a month of clinching. Clinching itself, right? It is a 魁罡啊。你们记得魁罡是什么？就是这个根的能量很强的啊。所以我之前就是说，如果政府要选举的话，就在这个4月到5月头之间哈。因为呢，庚辰本身就是一个魁罡呢，魁罡你们懂哈，就是那个魁罡呢。魁罡格这个是代表呢，这个根金的能量会很强。那一天也是个生的地支，是一个金的地支，这个是金，这个也是金啊。那 P 本身就是一个需要金的一个八字嘛，它是肾弱心金的嘛，对不对？所以好不好呢？那一天对 PAP 当然是一个好的一个日期啊。那我看一下 Augustine 的那个 Master Jason， 你们选 PAP 八字 chart currently luck pillar is not good, but why did PAP has a resulting victory? Precisely because they have selected the right leader, right? It is important to have the right leader. You have to leverage on the leader's good luck in order for a party. That's why, right, when you want to start a business, you want to choose a manager, executive, you will still need to analyze the parts of the person to make sure that that person will be able to bring success to your company or organization. And additionally, I can't deny that, right? Even though PAP has won, but does it mean that it's going to be an easy ride for PAP? No, definitely not an easy ride for PAP because in the next few years, we will have a lot of chaos globally. I mentioned that first of all, all kinds of warfares will break out. I'm sorry about the webcam, yeah. I will try to adjust. Yeah, there will be tariff war, military conflicts between China and Taiwan or even America. And all this will continue to jack up the prices. I mean, continue to cause inflation in Singapore. a lot of business will close down. A lot of people will find it hard to sustain their employment due to the rise of AI. And a lot of people will find that, living expenses will continue to be high. So, but still we have, hopefully, given that we have rather good leadership, as mentioned, Minister Lawrence Wong, the Bazi is pretty positive for Singapore's development. So hopefully, under his leadership, Singapore will still prosper and be rather stable in the next few years ahead. Yeah, but is it going to be an easy ride? No, it's not going to be an easy ride. He's just saying that yes, PAP has won. Congratulations to them. As according to Bazi, the things that Bazi have predicted, most of them has come true. So it once again says that Bazi has its practical value. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, I'm not trying to influence the political outcome of Singapore or whatsoever. I'm just here to teach Bazi or feng shui or 紫微斗数. My videos are all purely for educational purposes. Yeah. So if this round have shown to you that Bazi is likely to generate very accurate forecasts, so you can use Bazi in other aspects of your life also. Okay. So I think he's even better than Lee Kuan Yew. In some way, I believe he is very approachable, very dark. Okay, I will say due to different social climate. During Lee Kuan Yew's time, it was very turbulent. Singapore was kicked out of Malaysia. You need very strong-handed approach, because in the past we have things like social rioting, and people in general were not very educated. And also, right, what they all needed is a very strong leader who is not only able to kind of lead with very strong conviction, and also be able to have kind of like strong enough to, Singapore all the while is a small country. It has to, when Singapore was very poor, you really need a very strong leader to kind of like bring the country forward, because you still have to look at the international scene. When you have weak leadership, who will look up to you? Yeah, like Malaysia, of course, they will the first one to bully Singapore. Yeah, so Mr. Lee actually leaded to exhibit this kind of very strong leadership. Of course, you remember some incidents like the the pilots within the Singapore Airline, they kind of have what do you call that? 罢工还是什么东西啊? Then Mr. Lee was very firm and very fierce. He actually mentioned that if you try to create problems, he will do whatever he could to teach them a lesson. Yeah, so this kind of leadership was necessary during a kind of social climate. But now Singapore, everyone is highly educated. Everyone kind of like is well traveled, have internet access, to all kinds of information. You need a different approach in leadership, one that is more, more warm, more kind of down to earth, always showing your more vulnerable side. This kind of soft power, what I call soft power, is more relevant in today's political arena. I think that is actually a more appropriate way to handle oneself as a politician. That's why you see a lot of politicians going into those podcast interviews and stuff like that, showing their very personal side, very private side, which is a good thing. These are very powerful method to let the population know that they are also very relatable. They are just like normal people like us. Yeah, so it's a different society, lead a different kind of leadership, definitely. Yeah. So in a way, can I say they are one is better than the other? It's very hard to say. It's just very, very different social setting. Yeah, so it's very hard to compare who is better. So no way PAP will lose in future. Well, that one I will have to look further into the future. But as I believe, as long as Prime Minister Lawrence Wong is in charge, the PAP government will still be in good hands. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. So on Hong Chai, I feel my luck getting better going into year 2025. I'm a strong Khui water, they must. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. So many people also experience changes. Yeah. If you are having the fire element as your auspicious element, entering your 2025, 2026, you actually experience some positive turns of events. Yeah. And the other way is true, yeah. If your inauspicious element is fire, so you start to feel like a lot of expenses, accumulating debts and stuff like that. Yeah, so you guys have to be more careful. Yeah. Yeah, so I also mentioned that Wong, yeah. So actually actually, to be honest, regardless whether she make the racist remark or not, I don't think she would stand a chance. But anyway, we still look at the result and know that she wasn't able to make it. Even the other Indian leader, he didn't do very well. Yeah, so I will say it's still not a positive kind of situation for Dr. Chi Sun-jan this round. I have nothing against Dr. Chi Sun-jan. In fact, I have to repeat myself that I admire his spirit and determination. He bringing about his belief version of democracy in Singapore. But I'm just against his illegal ways of doing protests and speeches, things like that, because I have witnessed firsthand in Hong Kong how it can, within a very short period of time, descend into extremely chaotic kind of riots, protests in Hong Kong. If you remember, just a few years back, we had this Fan Song Zong, and then the whole Hong Kong, everywhere you go, are like people fighting each other, even within the train station. Police anyhow whack people regardless whether they are protesters or not. Then you have tear gas filling all the streets, and then you have people blocking all the roads. All the public transports are basically paralyzed. So I don't wish to see this kind of situation in Singapore. And if you have a figure who believe that for political goal, you should actually go all out regardless of the laws of the country, it could be dangerous for a city-state like Singapore. That's my personal humble opinion. I have nothing against Chi Sun-jan. It's just that also in terms of past reading, I mentioned that he's a strong day master of the Earth. So he will not make it this round. Yeah, I had mentioned before that it's just not a good year for him. Yeah. So, but I will still say that there will still be a lot of believers in his ideology. He's a good kind of like, he's not a leader material, but he is someone who is able to plant an idea into people's mind. Well, he's a neurologist or something, right? A psychologist or something, yeah. But he's not a leader material. Yeah, he's able to influence people's mind, but not a leader. Because you look at his Bazi chart, there are no 7 killing and direct officer. I mean, yes, there is one, but he's a weak one at the pillar, a pretty weak one actually. So given that he has rather strong companion factors, it will weaken his authority. Yeah, so unfortunately, this year is of the Shi fire. Also, Shi Wei will fire combination formation, which means that he will be his teammates will cause him problems, which indeed Jin Wong actually say something wrong. It was really kind of a very shocking incident, in fact, in the history of Singapore. Yeah. Well, okay. I think Singaporeans vote resulting the victory to PAP because they want a strong team to man the Singapore ship this round. Yes, definitely. I will also think that this is a wise move because the next few years it is going to be very chaotic. And it would be wise if you have a government that is filled with very capable leaders or parliament members. I'm not saying that WP's candidates are not capable. They are likewise very capable, but they don't have a track record to prove. Harpreet Singh was, he was a lawyer, right, or kind of like senior counsel. Yeah. Of course, I think with his his experience in the law industry would actually contribute something, but ultimately governing is quite different from being a lawyer. Governing a country is very different from being a lawyer. So, but Harpreet Singh also didn't stand a chance to win because his Bazi was not one that is extremely going through a positive period. If you look at his Bazi chart, just to make sure I'm correct, yeah, because Harpreet Singh. Okay, I will double check on Harpreet Singh because there are a few versions of his Bazi chart. I mean, his date of birth online. The one that I had may not be the accurate one, but I will just double check to be sure. But you guys can also check on that. Harpreet Singh actually born in 1966, the February the 4th. Yeah, as according to Google. So this is what Google say. Yeah, so I will just take Google as a kind of reference. Yeah, this guy is Harpreet Singh, right? Rather handsome guy. Yeah, rather handsome guy. 1966, February the 4th. Yeah. So we look at his Bazi chart. Yeah. So now we look at his Bazi chart, January the 4th. So this is Harpreet Singh's Bazi chart. We can see that indeed within his chart, he has two peach blossom star. Wu Fire itself is a peach blossom star. So yes, charismatic definitely, handsome definitely, and usually they are very attractive. But will they actually make a good politician? That is another matter altogether. For example, Gan Kim Yong. Gan Kim Yong is not a very charismatic person, but he come across as a very capable member of parliament. Yeah. So let's look at Gan Kim Yong. Yeah. Gan Kim Yong, look at his Bazi chart. Yeah. Let's look at his Bazi chart together. Interestingly, he's also of a Khui water. Yeah. Gan Kim Yong is also of Khui water. And as I mentioned before, Singapore needed, leaders who have more stronger water element within their chart. So Gan Kim Yong is able to help Singapore. And when you look at the COVID-19, he actually was able to implement a lot of policies that could help Singapore recover from COVID-19 quickly. So I will say Gan Kim Yong will still continue to be very helpful for the Singapore government, PAP government, or to Singaporeans as a whole. So now I believe he is going to head this task force to tackle the tariff war issue. Yeah, so I will say we will be in good hands if Gan Kim Yong is to be the leader. We will be in good hands, yeah, under his leadership. So let's go back to Harpreet Singh again, right? Harpreet Singh, yeah, very handsome, very charismatic, but you look at his birth chart. Currently, his decade trend is not so positive as a weak Jiawu day master. And the 2025 period, let me hide this first so that you can see, is actually of the Bing Fire. Bing Fire is not his auspicious element. It's actually his eating god. Yes, he can speak very well. Eating god is your output factor. So if you are eating god within your Bazi chart, you can speak very well, you can express yourself very well. But are you able to hold authority is another matter, because as a weekday master of Jiawu, you need the water and wood element to enhance your authority. But currently his decade trend is of a Bing Sun, both of which will exhaust the wood element. So no, he will not stand the chance to enter in the parliament as predicted by Bazi reading. Yeah, so Bazi reading has once again proved that it has its practical value, usable value, and is able to help us come to a very clear prediction for the future. So yeah, yellow umbrella. I was there. Zhonghuan. What is that? I'm not able to comprehend this. Zhonghuan. Zhonghuan is a school, is it? Anyway, yes, we can see gray zones. One, I think we have to remember at the end of the day, we have a team combinations of different parts put tick against each other. Each member will leave or pull each other down. Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely. That's why I say, looking at the Bazi, although An Qiming is a PAP member, he didn't do very well. Just 51% of the vote is a very low score for a PAP member, because precisely we can see that his Bazi chart is currently not positive. As mentioned before, let's look at An Qiming's Bazi chart again. Yeah. Gunmetal Day Master that is strong. Yeah, An Qiming currently going through this Chou Earth. So will not be positive. So even An Qiming is going to return to the parliament, he has to work very hard to prove himself again, to be honest. But will he be like in the next general election? Will he stand have higher vote count? Of course, we don't have the opponent Bazi to kind of engage, but we can see that for the 2028 or 2029 election, that has been fired his silent killing. So in the next round of January election in 2028 and 2029, somewhere there, An Qiming will do much better than this round. Yeah, will do much better than this round. In fact, this round he nearly lost, which was what I mentioned, that he stand a very high chance of losing. Yeah, if Andrew Lowe didn't experience that so-called political attack someone posted his private message of the past of him using certain words that are not very appropriate, then maybe Andrew Lo could have won the general election. But of course, we don't have Andrew Lo date and time of birth, or at least the date of birth. We cannot find it online. So there's no way that we can do a comparison. But in Harpreet Singh case, as compared to Gan Kim Yong, it seems that Harpreet Singh didn't have the authority, to be a politician, But will he be able to be a very, eloquent person, able to express his political ideas very convincingly? Yes, he will be able to. But being able to convince the public and being able to hold authority is totally different thing in terms of Bazi reading. So we have to take note of that. So Lin Let, thank you very much for your comment. Long Ping Ming and Ting Ru. Ting Ru, yes. As mentioned, right, I have kind of like mistaken that Ting Ru was a guy. So after plotting her Bazi chat, after the change of gender, I mean the Bazi chat change of gender, not she changing gender. Because sometimes I really don't know the candidate. I'm not familiar with all the candidates. So after switching her gender from a male to female, Bazi is such that there will be a reverse of the sequence of the decade trends after the gender is being changed. So it's very important for us to look at the gender of the person in terms of Bazi reading. So Huan Huan says that you think who will be our next president? That's very hard to say. The next president election, when is that? I'm not. Perhaps by then we will do a Bazi analysis. I think that will be an interesting one. Okay, then maybe Gan Kim Yong. Gan Kim Yong will be able to help Singapore. 5 years later, Gan Kim Yong will be 71, so must likely president. Well, there are a few people that I think stand a chance to be the president. One is Josephine Teo, because her future looks rather promising. Josephine Teo. I mean, not a bad thing to have a female president, given that now we are at the Li Gua Jiu Yun, So, but perhaps this will be like a few decades later, So, but Gan Kim Yong, perhaps we'll look at Gan Kim Yong's chart to see whether he stand a chance to have this kind of luck. So look at Gan Kim Yong, right? Look at his decade. In the future, he continued to experience very positive development, because you look at Gan Kim Yong's chart is likely to be a strong Water Day Master. Of course, perhaps I think this is the wrong time of birth. So let me adjust his time of birth. Just to give it perhaps a high. So sometimes the Bazi automatically put it at a strong day master of water. After the adjustment of time, the next 20 years or so, right, is all of the Zheng Guan Qi side. So yes, he will continue to hold very important position within the Singapore Parliament. Gan Kim Yong is also likely to be one of those, very highly regarded politician within the PAP in the future. Even though actually now, right, since 2020, he has already received quite a great, doing a lot of important tasks within the government from 2020. We know that COVID-19, the task force was also handled by him. So we can see that from 2020 onwards, he has actually entered into the direct office at Zheng Guan. So all the way, right, he's having Zheng Guan Qi Sha means he will have extremely high authority. Although some of the video shows that like he was very poor day, when he tried to shake hands with people on the street, people ignore him. I mean, I also have to be honest. Sometimes being a politician is not easy. They have to make difficult choices. Sometimes not a choice that will please everyone. It is easy to make a choice that please the whole population, but will that be a good choice? What you like may not be what is good. That's what I'm trying to say. You may like to eat a lot of French fries, but ultimately it may cause you to have sore throat. Like for example, like if you have children, they like to eat potato chips, but all these are unhealthy. But it's like a population, they always want the most enjoyable policy, like free education, free healthcare. But how is it going to be sustainable in the long run? Where does the money come from? Money will not drop from the sky, So when you have a free education, free childcare, free healthcare, maybe even one day when we have everything free, we also want free car, free transport, free houses, because humans' needs and wants are unlimited. These are basic economic law. When you have free childcare, after that you want free maids, you want free domestic worker. After you have free domestic worker, you also want free cars. I don't know, everything free lah. So this but unrealistic. This is unrealistic. Someone has to pay for it. So what I'm trying to say is that sometimes the government may not make choices that are pleasing to the population. But I believe some of the policy ultimately, even though they are not pleasing or not appealing to the general public, I believe to a large extent, some of the policies are there to safeguard the overall, the majority of the population. So we cannot always have very populist kind of policy. It's not good for the country, because yes, you'll be happy for a while, but who is going to bear the subsequent cost? Are the consequences for getting lateral reserve? Not lateral reserve, I mean the financial reserve. Singapore already don't have lateral reserve. The only thing that Singapore can rely on for survival, let's say if there's a third world war, how is it going to survive without money? Where are you going to buy weapons or have kind of sufficient medical services for the general public during a war? War is a common phenomena that occurred again and again. It will not stop. Look at the history of mankind. War is the only constant. Let me repeat myself again. War is the only constant in the history of mankind. So will Singapore one day experience warfare? It will. It's just a matter of time. So your country without water, without natural resources, and the only thing that you can rely on in such a situation is money. And if you deplete your financial reserve, giving free healthcare, free education, free domestic worker, free car, free housing, I don't know, just a little bit exaggerating, but the nation will die. The nation will die. Will become very fragile and go bankrupt. So it's not a healthy thing, right? So oh my God, not Josephine. Okay, I know she's a very interesting character. Perhaps we just look at Josephine Teo's so I know right sometimes she say rather interesting things sometimes, but let's look at her chart. Her date of birth is 1968 July. Rather strong. To be honest, right, people when it's strong, right, they are usually quite reliable. Although she say funny things, because we can see that her chart doesn't have a lot of metal element. The metal element, there's one at the year of branch, and it's not a strong one. The year is always the weakest point of the Bazi chart. That's why I always tell you, right, when you want to read someone's Bazi, reading the animal zodiac is not helpful. It will not tell you anything, because within the Bazi chart, the most powerful point is your day master, the month pillar, and then followed by the hour pillar, right? All these pillars are the crucial points. The year pillar, especially the up branches, usually consists of maybe 15% of energy influencing your day master only. So you can see that Josephine Teo's chart does not have a lot of metal element, which means that she's not someone who is good in speaking. When you have a chart that is not good in speaking, then of course, right, sometimes you will say the wrong things. I'm not saying that the things that she say doesn't make sense. Actually, most of the things that she say makes complete sense. Like she say that people only need a very small space to make love, to procreate. So that is true. You don't need a football field to so-called make baby, but these kind of things are not sensitive. Not sensitive to the human feelings. Human, I mentioned, ultimately they have emotions and feelings, but when you say things like that, you don't need a lot of space to make love. It's just not very, how to say, when common people listen to it, it just is not comfortable to hear. So indeed, we look at her chart, right? She doesn't have a lot of metal output element. Metal is her output element. So in a way, we can see that she will not be very good in her speech, and sometimes she say things that like will make us kind of like don't know how to react. Yeah, but we look at her future. Her future is all filled with water element in terms of the decade trend. Means her behavior, means her performance will benefit Singapore also. And all these are her wealth factors. Yeah, especially from 2028 onwards, all these are wealth, and wealth will enhance authority. She has authority, which is the 7 killing at her day pillar of branch. High Ma Wei will also full of wood, form a wood combination formation. Yeah, so she will have a chance of a high-ranking politician. So there's a high chance that she will continue to help Singapore, and will she hold very important position in the future? Yes, especially after 2028. So I would say in the long run, right, will she become like a very high-ranking politician, even become a president? There will be a chance. I would say there will be a chance. Yeah. So that's my take on Josephine Teo. Although, yeah, the things she say, sometimes can be quite like we don't know how to react to what she says, like asking the MINDEF, to kind of like stop the airplane from flying or things like that. Yeah. But still, I will say her performance in the future will benefit Singapore. Yeah. So Dennis Pua. Dennis Pua is from which party? Yeah, I'm not very sure. But I will quickly do a check. That is charges from all right, I'm not sure, but I only found a Dr. Dennis Cha. I'm not sure is it the or maybe you can tell me Dennis Cha is from which party, because Dennis Pua, is it? Okay, sorry about that. Dennis Pua is from let me double check on that. Dennis Pua, is it the okay, he's the female politician, right? So let us take a look at Dennis Pua, Bazi chart. I believe she's is a female, right? Yeah, so let's look at her Bazi chart. As according to the internet, she was born in the year 1959. On the day of the night. Of course, we don't have her time of birth. Yeah, so we just take it as a high hour just to kind of gauge. High 只所 form water combination formation, so 航木下两个. So in the current decade trend, she's actually going through this Wu fire. So which is still positive for her. Yeah, it's still positive for her. But looking further down, it's just Koi water. So after 2029, will she kind of like step down from politics? There could be a chance. But currently her 5-year period is still positive. So will stay. She will still hold one important position within the PAP, and then she's a strong wood, which is also helpful for Singapore's development. Yeah. So that's my take on Dennis Pua. So other comments. Huang Hong Chai knew that why our HDB all very small. Sorry. How do I? Okay. Hong Chai is a candidate, is it? All right, let me check. To be honest, I'm not familiar with every one of them. Yeah, so I will just try to quickly. All right, I'm not able to find Ong Hong Chai. This name is too common, so it shows me all kinds of people whom I don't know. I don't know which Ong Hong Chai you're referring to, but if you have more information, let me know like which political party it. Oh, you are referring to Ong Hong Chai, one of the viewers. Yeah. Okay, President must be able to speak better. Yeah, to be honest, I agree. I agree with you, right, President? Hopefully she will improve in the future. Yeah, hopefully she will improve in the future. But I will say her intention, or at least, not all of us are able to speak very well, but ultimately, as a politician, what really matters is whether the policy you create or the things that you implement helpful for the population. Yeah. So perhaps this is one of her minor flaw. Like sometimes she just speak things that make us don't know how to react. But I would say that ultimately she's a reliable politician, and I believe that under her care, I mean, those residents under her care are actually, will find her to be a very reliable. That's why she has a rather strong, vote counts. For Jalan Besar, GRC, Josephine Teo has got about more than 70%, I believe, for this GE. So which is a very high score, yeah. For her to, of course, we can't deny that the other opponent is not a very strong party also, but we can see that she has 75.21%, which is an increase from the previous election, 65.36%. Yeah, so we can see that the residents do trust her and want her to be around, to continue to be around. Yeah, so hopefully we will get used to her very interesting speaking style, but we will look beyond that, and look at her ability and her intention and her performance within the parliament. Yeah, yeah. So I believe I have kind of like kind of reflect on a lot of the candidates that I have made. Anyone else you want me to talk about? I believe I have mentioned most of them already. Yeah, so just want to reiterate again that this time round, is it a really ridiculously shocking kind of result? I would say actually it's quite shocking because ultimately we see a lot of opposition trying to contest for the many seats that are available within this general election, but still PAP has about 65% of the support from the voters. So congratulations to PAP. I hope that under the leadership of Prime Minister Lawrence Wong, you will continue to do well and turn over. I mean, not turn over, but in the past few months or past year, some unhappy incidents. We know what is it, which is actually kind of like not very pleasant to know. But I believe, I hope in the future, better performance will take place for PAP. And really, I think the current team is most of the candidates, I would say, seems to be very sincere. Like especially, I like this transport minister called Chi Hong Tak. I not that I really like him, but it's just that the task that he handled is not an easy one. Singapore has such a very large public transport system. It's like what I mentioned. If you have more hair, you have more problems. You have more railways, you have more MRT. Of course, there will be higher chance of breaking down. And of course, the ticketing system and stuff like that. It will take time for people to adapt. So I would say that, but it's ultimately not an easy task. We must show some appreciation of the very, I would say, a very good public transport system that we have. Comparing to other countries, which country has a better transport system? I don't see any country has a better transport system. Bangkok is definitely a no. I'm very afraid to go to Bangkok because the traffic jam there is crazy. And Hong Kong, so I would say, compare the buses. I think Singapore is better. At least some of the terminal you have aircon and stuff like that. I will say Singapore public transport system is still holistic. But of course, you can't expect it to be perfect. Even your appliances at home will fail sometimes. So it's the same with all kind of appliances or system. There will be imperfection. So I will say, right, you should actually give a thumbs up to, Chi Hong Tak for, running the public system rather well. It's not an easy task, to be honest. Yeah. So perhaps we'll look at Chi Hong Tak's budget chart. Yeah. Chi Hong Tak's budget chart. All right. I believe have plugged it earlier on. Or let me double check on his birth again first. Yeah. As I mentioned, all right, politician is actually of a strong wood or strong water. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if someone has selected it this way. But Chi Hong Tak was born in 1973 and November the 4th. Yeah. So let's look at his chart and adjust his time of wrong time of birth. So all right. So you can see okay, November the 4th. Yeah, November the 4th. This transport minister Chi Hong Tak's chart. Very strong Jawood. Yeah, Jawood, as I mentioned, Singapore needed the wood element. He's actually of a strong Jawood. And then currently, he is going to this Ting Shi, auspicious trend. Yeah, very auspicious trend all the way till he reached his 70 years old, which is 2042. Yeah, so in the near future, the next, I will say 18 years, 18, 17 years, Chi Hong Tak will still serve Singapore very well. So we must kind of like also I know, all of us sometimes are disappointed with the train breakdowns and stuff like that. But to be honest, your train is like running like how many hours a day? And then there are so many trains, so many people taking the public transport. You have to have this psychological readiness that nothing is perfect and it will break down. It is normal. I mean, if you compare to the number of days it broke down and to the number of days that it is working well, I will say the number of days that it break down is like less than 1% compared to the number of days that he's working. So I have to be fair with Chi Hong Tat. Yeah, he has been doing a good job. I will say it's a good job. Yeah, health doesn't look good on Lee Hsien health. Yeah, okay. So right. Also look at I will also look at Lee Hsien also. Yeah, Jalan Pasar has strong support for Dennis Paul. Yeah, regardless of right, I will say yes, Dennis Paul still have very good dedication. So yes, she will continue to have good performance within the parliament. However, says that our previous prime minister health seems not so good, right? As I saw him quite tired when he making speech. Yeah, so let's look at Lee Hsien Loong's chart also. Yeah, health doesn't look good on here. Yeah, so Lee Hsien Loong. So let me actually just check. Yeah, date of birth. Okay, Lee was actually born in the year 1952. Yeah, 1952. And month of birth is February, and day of birth is the 10th. Yeah, so just start birth. I just give it a hour, yeah, because he is likely to be a strong day master of the big fire. Yeah, so right as okay, let's look at his chart together. He's likely to be a strong big fire day master because you can see that yin, right, which I mentioned, month pillar actually holds a very strong influence to the day master because that is the seasonal energy. Yin is actually towards the spring, and during springtime, of course, the sun is bright. So this yin will also combine with Xu to form a fire combination formation, assuming that his time of birth is of the Wu fire. Yin will Xu form a fire combination formation, and this Jia would heavily step will actually cause his day master to be strong. And due to the fact that there are two run water at his heavenly stem, 日照干合格 is a beautiful formation of sun facing the ocean. So yes, he will enjoy great authority in his time. That's why, so to speak, yeah, the year pillar and the month pillar means his father and people more senior than him. He will be able to kind of like benefit from the seniors within his family. Yeah. So true enough, 他也是有一个叫做杀印上升格。All this seven killing is able to enhance the resource factor of the yin wood, which caused him to be able to have extremely high authority in this lifetime. Yeah, but we can see that currently his decade is going into this Yong metal. Yes, it is his wealth. Yong metal is his wealth, and but due to the fact that we are going into 2026, which is a very strong fire year. So in the year 2026, I mean, from a Bazi perspective, for educational purposes, that I'm saying this, when a strong fire day master is going into a year that is having extremely strong fire element, this is a sign of illness. And this kind of illness will usually be the heart issue, tumor issue, lymphatic system issue, blood pressure issue. So all these areas are things that will happen to a Bazi chart that is having a big fire day master that is strong. So hopefully, my best wishes for you see the prime minister mentor now. I believe he is right, or the senior. I don't know what's the term for it now, but I wish him good luck, good health also. But the next 2 years definitely not so good because this Chou and Wei will also form first of all conflict relationship in 2027. 2027, this Wei and Wu will also form a fire combination formation. Shi Wu will form a fire combination formation. So 2026 and 2027, I will say, right, previous Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong does have to be very watchful over health issue. it is not likely that in terms of health, he really have to be very careful. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, strong Bing Fire Day Master going through this very strong fire year. That's why you can also observe that recently he appeared to be very weak, and doesn't seem to be as strong as before. In Malaysia, I hate how handicapped my life feels without a car. Well, in Singapore, you actually don't need a car. To be honest, in Singapore, the public transport system is basically able to allow you to live without a car, And anyway, Singapore is too small for you to drive a car. It's like just 45 minutes from one end to another. What's the point of driving a car when the island is so small? You can survive without a car in Singapore, to be honest. And additionally, cars are okay. Prices of cars are priced in such a expensive manner because Singapore really can't afford to have too many cars on the road. That is the truth. You just look at Bangkok. Everyone has a car. So when you just want to travel from point A to point B, just 1 kilometer, but you have to go through the traffic jam, which will be stuck for about an hour. So what's the point? Yeah. So I don't think Singapore actually need cars. You already have a very good public transport system. Can analyze Harpreet Singh and how Workers' Party will perform. Yeah, Harpreet Singh, definitely. We can look at Harpreet Singh. So let me see if I have his chart on my tablet. So Harpreet Singh, 1976 August the 2nd. Yeah, August the 2nd. Yeah. So as mentioned before, right, Harpreet Singh is actually of a Bing Fire Day Master that is strong. Yeah. So that's the reason why, right? You see within this election is pretty much of the status quo. Although Harpreet Singh has kind of many new members into the the election, but not many of them are able to win. Yeah, because this year is still not a very positive year for Harpreet Singh. He's a very dry chart in the sense, right? This Xu and Wei are all dry up, and he's a Bing Fire Day Master, fueled by this Yi Wood and another Bing Fire at Peter Hamlin stem. So it's a very dry chart. But still, right, his decade trend is still good. Yeah, so from 2018 onwards, right, that is also when he started to become the Secretary General, being elected as the Secretary General and being given a salary as the opposition leader, yeah, or something like that. Yeah, so all the way to the future, his trends are good. His positive development will still continue all the way till he reaches his 68 years old. Or the year, I will say 1943 or not 1940. 2043 and 2044. Yeah, that's about when he entered into this 2044. This Jia Wood and this Yin Wood here will kind of like fuel his Bing Fire Day Master. So, will he retire during that time? About 68 years, or I think it's time also. About 68 or 69, I think it's time. But all the way into the future, I will say that he will continue to have a stronghold within the government. Just that this year is of the Shi Fire, next year is of the Bing Wu Fire. So his party's performance will not be fantastic. But he's still, being able to hold the status quo, like still about 12 members of opposition candidates, in the parliament, I still think better than having a lesser number. Yeah, because at least they are able to remain rather, status quo. And so I will say Workers' Party will continue to be there within the government. Yeah. So that's my take on all the politicians. Yeah, but really unfortunately that Workers' Party, in comparison, Workers' Party this time round very strong. Yeah. So PSP not able to become the NCMP this time round, but I still wish them good luck. I still think that they are able to provide rather high quality alternative views. Perhaps in the future, the next round, we may actually have a chance for PSP again. I'm not sure, but this time round, WP did very well as the highest votes losers. So the two NCMP seats is likely to belong to Workers' Party this time round. Yeah, but I have already mentioned before, Desmond Lee's team will win over, Liang Man Wai's team. Just that his race, not sad or why. it's just that Workers' Party is just too strong. Yeah, they are able to bring in new faces and win. Not really win, but nearly win the Chiming. Yeah, actually win the Chiming. That is very unbelievable. And yeah, as I mentioned, Chiming will have a lot to do to put himself again within the parliament. And I wish him all the best. Regardless of which party the candidates are from, I'm for no party. I'm against no party. Also, I'm just here to teach Bazi. Yeah, to be honest, at the end of the day. So whatever I share has no political implication. It's just for educational purposes for us to understand that Bazi actually has practical implication, practical value in terms of its usage to predict the future. So hopefully all of us will learn more about Bazi through my sharing and able to use it in your own life for the betterment of your destiny. So thank you very much for watching. Any other questions? If no other questions, I will just call it a day because it has been a long day for me. Have many consultations today. Usually weekends I will be very busy. So I will go to rest now. Thank you very much once again, and congratulations to PAP for winning this election 2025. Hopefully, once again, wishing Prime Minister Lawrence Wong being able to lead Singapore towards a better direction. And once again, congratulations for receiving such a strong mandate. So thank you once again, and good evening, everyone. Wishing you a good night, and I will go to sleep now, actually. So I'll see you in the next live video. Bye-bye.